morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is where you guys are. What we're looking at today is we're going to be looking at enzymes in this next video. Specifically, we're going to be looking at three components that we need to know about enzymes: their structure, the reactions that they work with, and then what denaturing is. So let's start nice and easy with the structure. And lucky for us, there are only three things that we need to know about enzyme structure. It's this sort of Pac-Man looking thing just here, and what you've got here is an enzyme. So the enzyme is made of protein, and it makes this shape just here. Different enzymes have different shapes, but we'll just focus on this one for today. So made of protein and builds up to this sort of shape here. And you'll notice that the enzyme has this cutout part out the side. This is what's called the active site. Now, the active site is the area of the enzyme which actually helps, or where the chemical reactions take place. Okay, it's where the substrate will be catalyzed. And so a substrate just here, you will notice, will fit perfectly into this active site of this enzyme, just like a key into a lock. And this is really important for enzymes' function, which we'll talk about in a minute. So those are the three things: enzyme just here, active site, sort of cut out part at the side of an enzyme, and the substrate, which are the components that go into an enzyme, a little bit like reactants in chemistry. Okay, so then let's move over here and let's look at the reactions that enzymes do. Now, the most common one that you guys will see is this breaking down reaction. And what that is as follows. Substrate, which you can see just here, all right, single substrate will come into the enzyme, as you can see in this second photo just here. And what the enzyme will do is it will actually break down that substrate. It'll cut it into smaller pieces. And these almost a little bit like, excuse my bad drawing here, almost like a chemical pair of scissors, right? They cut down the substrate into the smaller components, in this case into two products. And it will then release those products that it's broken down. So it's broken down the substrate into two products and then released them. And this is really useful in things like digestive enzymes, because it will mean that our body can then absorb those sugars or amino acids into our bloodstream. Okay. So next is this last part just here, which is this what about if enzymes stop working? And this is what's called denaturing is. And the definition for denaturing is when an enzyme structure is changed either by heat or pH, meaning that the substrate no longer fits into the active site, which means the enzyme will no longer work. So let's have a look here. So we've got a normal enzyme on the left, right? And so you've got a normal enzyme just here. You could see the substrate just there. Substrate would fit into the enzyme, happy days, and it would break down and it would work as per normal. However, I have then gone and applied some heat. Let's say we're taking it to Australia or something. And this heat, what's happened is the enzyme, you can see its shape has changed. And because its shape has changed, it no longer has an active site. And because it no longer has an active site, what that means is that the substrate can no longer fit. And if the substrate can no longer fit, then the enzyme doesn't work. And this is what denaturing is. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.